Okay, this is something I really look forward to, and at the same time, um, really dread facing shooting one of these videos. I am in the phase where I am trying to get into the groove of it. Um, as I said in the last video, I don't know if it will go up in order, but in the last video that I shot, I shared that my intention was to do these shootings at the same time every day. And the next day, it turns out I failed. Well, um, I tried to wake up early at 6 a.m. and it didn't work out just the next day. And I don't want to beat myself up too much about it because consistency is something I've really grappled with all my life. And believing that uh, I need to be putting in an intense amount of effort and work every day to be getting anywhere. And regardless of the fact that it really didn't suit my style, that was not how my body was designed, really. My body is designed to be working at an unpredictable um, schedule. And I hope, well, I will be sharing more about what that means or how I got to that conclusion in the future. It's quite fun stuff. But I need to come to terms with how I was designed. And I mean, that's the term that I will be using more often. And it turns out that design was from a higher perspective, if you will, from my own self. Anyways, uh, the reason why I said this is something I look forward and at the same time dread having to do, not really having to do, but even having chosen to commit to it through my own volition. I think many of us find it really hard to even um, to stick to something that we have chosen for ourselves for our own good. And some of it, I think, comes from the assumption that it has to look a certain way. And in many cases, it's just what you were told by society that how it should look like, how to get there. And sometimes, it's how it happens. But I think more and more, if that's something you are after, is anything worthwhile, chances are it is uniquely for you, and therefore mm, chances are it would look nothing like how others got to where they are now. I'm saying it's all going to be a unique story for every person. And that ties into something I wanted to talk about today, which is the sense of fulfillment or lack of fulfillment I have been feeling more intensely these days, these past couple days, especially, and more in general throughout my life. And it's a kind of a fuel that's helped me shape who I am now, which I'm quite comfortable and proud, really. Um, but at the same time, it's not an easy energy that uh, to live with. Meaning the sense of dissatisfaction that you need to get somewhere, you better be somewhere by now. The sense of urgency that some of you may identify with. And in a sense, there is something we came here to do. So, and life is short. So the urgency is justified. But on the other hand, it's a sign that there's something off here. I want to ramble less and get to the point more. So, to get to where I want to go, in this video at least, I want to share how I got to the conclusion that I really need to be doing this, shooting these videos more, even without knowing necessarily how or what to talk about each day, or what the daily shooting schedule will look like. I want it to be predictable. I want it to be consistent. But at the same time, as I said, it flies in the face of how I designed myself to be. And one of the lessons is really I can't, or anybody, nobody can go against how your body is designed in the first place in the long run. We all try it at one time or another, try to go against the nature. Because the nature is, in a sense, much more about your body than your mind, or what you think of as your personality, although it's part of it. But most people don't know that much about themselves or how they're built, even on the personality level, because we lie to ourselves all the time. We try to suppress parts of ourselves that we don't like or don't fit the version that we think we should be. That's something I had to struggle a lot in my own life. But it is all about what you came here to do. Going back to that phrase, the lack of fulfillment, or the source of fulfillment that you may be after, not even knowing that that's what you're after. When you're chasing material success or fulfilling relationships, um, family, love, all those things. I've come to the conclusion that the only thing that's missing in your life is you doing and living the life you came here to live. So I used to phrase it as the only thing that's missing in your life is you, but I needed to clarify that a little more, that it has to be a verb, an action, an ing thing, something happening through the unfolding of your life. And for me personally, that has been shooting these videos. I knew part of my thing, I don't want to dramatize it too much, but part of my thing was to share what I had to share through my language for verbal expression. Although that is more of a mm, transcendental kind of knowing, because my human mind still has a very hard time wrapping around the concept of how that's supposed to happen. I know I can speak, and I know people in the past have commented on how influential some of the things that I told them uh, ended up being. But the difficult part is that what you're here to do, the full scope of it, goes beyond your human mind, the limited mind. And that is the gap that a lot of us, really most of us, have a trouble bridging. So, for example, if I were to ask you, what thing, what's your thing that you've been holding back from doing, starting engaging, doing more, that you know you are here to do? And a lot of, I think, at least for most of you, something would come up. And the way to tell if it's real for you, I would say, if it scares you, if you wish the answer was something different, if it's something that's not occurring to you for the first time. Although I don't want to just rule that out completely, but chances are you've known it from a long time ago, from very early on, because it's tied to how our higher selves, our souls, planned out our lives here. And I've just realized that these past couple weeks, for me personally, was me trying to run around denying what I knew I needed to be doing, and I knew not just as a mission, but as a way to enjoy myself, spending time doing, shooting these videos. Because I know that I like talking when the inspiration is there. But at the same time, I've been holding back for many reasons, including all the past memories where I exposed myself, made myself vulnerable, sharing my heart, really, because the way I am built, I am made to share um what's in my heart, really. There's not much other way that I could be talking. It may sound a little weird or silly, but uh, I'm just here to share my inspiration, my story from uh, the very vulnerable place of my higher self. And there has been a good reason why I have been holding back because the timing was not right. Uh, the world wasn't ready, if you will, and I'm being constantly told or reminded from the universe that I've done nothing wrong. Holding back was I wasn't meant to be world famous up until now, but from now on, uh, I'm ready, and I'm being told nudged to go out into the world, share my message, and I've experienced uh, I've had experiences enough to know that it has to happen in a sustainable way, which I shared in the last video, meaning in the way that I enjoy, or to put it another way, a way that really that's really in line with my nature. And I've been noticing a lot the things that I've tried to fill my days with. Although I don't want to categorically chalk them up to a waste of time. Some of them has meaning, but without this single element, and I've come to a point where I cannot deny anymore that sharing my message through the means of daily YouTube videos, without that, I won't feel complete in my life. Actually, without engaging in that action daily process. And there are lots of other hobbies or good things I think uh, I need to be doing on a daily basis, like eating healthy, working out every day, studying. But it's become more and more clear that I wouldn't be enjoying myself as much. Or it's kind of difficult um, how should I explain this? I'm not worrying too much because I've noticed that some of the other YouTube videos that I watch, uh, especially the ones I subscribe these days, I enjoy these days, the new people that I found, um, who do videos just like this, unscripted. And some of them make little sense in some of their videos, not all of them, but in some of their videos, and I still watch them, I still enjoy them because it's much more about the energy, the vibes behind the words. So even though I may not be making too much sense on a verbal level, on an intellectual level, I know a lot more is being transferred directly to you. And that will help these videos spread much more than I were I to plan out meticulously every single word, every single phrase, sentence, because that's what I used to do, as I shared in one of the last the earlier videos. And it is an intensely personal matter. What makes you fulfilled? What makes you happy? The one thing, which may end up leading you to many things, but still, the one thing that you may be holding back from telling yourself many excuses, stories, why it could wait. But you can only hold back your true self as much. There's a limit. Otherwise, the other alternative is not really a real one, because there's only so much you can live with your switch off, if you will. Live, but you could be alive, but not really living. And what living looks like is going to be different for every person. And that's the beauty of it going forward in this new era for humanity. No one is out there to tell you where your fulfillment lies or even how to find it. Because a lot of, in most cases, the search for it is an intellectual process through your logical mind. I have nothing against it, but because so much emphasis has been placed on the logical side of our mind in recent human history, uh, I have to balance it out. And using the logical mind, using the intellect, is what everyone has tried at least once. And for most of us, it hasn't worked out, and it wasn't meant to. I mean, I jokingly say these days a lot that if it was something that I could figure out intellectually, I would have already done it. Especially the big ones, the big questions in our lives. What I something like what I should be doing with my life, or why am I not happy on a daily basis. I don't want to be telling anyone that you can't be happy all the time. I think that's a cop out. I think we are actually meant to be happy all the time, but it's been very difficult to be happy in a very unhappy world. There's a quote that I really like from Krishnamurti, I think. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a society that's sick. And the holding back that I've been talking about is, in a way, an attempt to normalize and justify, rationalize not having it all, not being happy all the time, while also being healthy and successful, and even materially. financially as well. I believe that there is a way to have it all, but it requires a great deal of courage because you have to give up something. And that something is sacrifice, compromise. By definition, when you're having it all, there's no sacrifice, there's nothing that's missing, or no compromise. Why would you need to have to compromise when you have it all, or when you can have it all? But even posing this question brings out intense opposition, both intellectually and emotionally. So, to give you another question, a much easier one now, why can't you have it all? And the point of these questions is not, especially this one, it's not so much about the actual content of the answer or the actual words that your mind will be telling you, but more so, why do you give it airtime? Why do you listen to it? Why do you believe it? Why do you accept it? What your mind's telling you. Because what's been happening to me, myself, personally, past couple days, is life has been showing me how I really have no real excuse against that. I have no good reason why against believing and even knowing that I can have it all. And at the same time, the only way I would know what it's like having it all as a daily reality is to surrender myself to the one thing that I know I need to be doing, which is this. And I still have no idea how me just rambling in front, not I don't want to downplay uh, the message that just came through me, but even after this, I imagine I'll be very surprised as to how these videos resonate with people. Um, but I am not doing this for the eventual reward. That's something I've trained myself to believe, to put in the effort for the reward that will come after as a result of it. But I've just noticed that that line of thinking automatically puts a distance between where I am now or what I'm doing now and the reward or the gap, the temporal gap, the time gap between me doing something and getting a reward. And I don't want to live like that anymore. I want my rewards to be instant. Not necessarily in a greedy way, but why not have it all? What if I don't need to delay the gratification because I do something that's intensely gratifying in the moment, and that will also pay dividends in the future? Why not have both? I don't know. I just asked a question. But I don't know if it was a rhetorical question or. But one thing I noticed or realized, I am shooting these videos mostly for myself, just for the heck of it. Because, well, one, that is how I design myself. And two, that is the only way I could be doing this for any sustainable amount of time. And three, I heard someone, a very good, successful, established writer, talk about how he actually writes for himself first, just for one person, and that is himself. Of course, he will edit it out, polish it later, rewrite it, but that's for a published author for a book. But for these videos, I personally won't be doing any of that. Maybe later on, these videos will make into a book, a published book. But the editing, the polishing, I don't want to be doing that. There are other great editors. Maybe I will end up doing it, but I don't know. Anyways, I believe that anything I do with that I really enjoy, that I could really enjoy, anything I do just for the sake of it, will be a doorway to many new things that I cannot imagine happening. And the reason why I'm talking about this is maybe you need to hear this. All right, I guess that's it for this video. Thank you for hearing me out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.